What's up guys, Sci-Fi Guy 2094 here. Welcome back to the channel, and today I've got an iconic, legendary horror film that I'm going to be talking about. I have none other than 2002's The Ring. So, look at this lovely cover. First of all, look at that. I gotta say that is fantastic. So we have the actual VHS aesthetic on the cover and the back as well. So anyway, let me just take this out for a second. We have the steelbook, and on the front here we got 7 days. We see the girl in the well, and then on the back we have the tree, which of course everything is explained in this movie, which I'm sure most of you have seen The Ring. So let me just talk about this real quick. I'm sure most of you guys have seen it. Now, I just rewatched this movie over the weekend. It had been a long time since I'd seen The Ring. And so the funny thing is, I had actually seen like the scary movies, like those parody films back in the day. I watched those growing up. So those movies were they were just very hilarious. So, I had to know exactly what they were doing a parody of. So, I had to watch The Ring. Now, even though I kind of knew some things that were coming because of the parody movies, I still thoroughly enjoyed The Ring. Now, of course, you guys know the premise of this film centers around a viral videotape challenge. We're introduced to these two girls in the very beginning of the movie, and they're talking about the challenge where, if you watch the videotape, you get a phone call, and then 7 days later, you end up dead. So, in the beginning, the two girls they're in their room. These two friends are in their room. The mom is away, and they're starting to talk about the challenge. And then one girl kind of freaks the other girl out because she said she watched it 7 days ago, and then it seems like she's dying, but then she's faking it. So, but then seriously enough, she actually does end up dead because she did watch the film 7 days ago. So, you guys know how the story goes with Naomi Watts' character. She is the reporter, and she's trying to figure out the history behind this tape, because the girl that dies in the beginning is a relative of hers. It's basically like her niece, I believe. So, and her son, I think his name is Aiden, like that was his favorite cousin. So she wants to get to the bottom of this because of personal reasons. So you guys know how it plays out. She figures out where this lighthouse is once she goes into the room, and she's able to use the instruments to kind of slow down the tape. She sees the lighthouse. She figures out where this lighthouse is. She's investigating. She goes there. She talks to the family about the horses that seemingly were going crazy and running off the cliff. And then, of course, she confronts the father and basically asks what happened here, and, is there anything you can tell me? He was reluctant to talk to her, but we all see how it goes down eventually. So, eventually, Samara is found in the well, and basically she was alive in the well when her mother threw her down there, and she survived 7 days just alone in the dark, in the cold. It's got to be very horrifying. And that's why the phone rings and it says 7 days. She was just down there alone 7 days, and she basically just becomes an entity that is evil, is out for revenge to hurt people. She wants people to experience the same pain she felt. And I just have to say, this movie is, like I said, a fantastic detective movie from start to finish. It's really good. It's intriguing. There's not even a lot of horror in it, but you care about the characters. You care about Naomi Watts and her son, and of course her son watches the tape, so she doesn't want him to die. So now she really has to get to the bottom of this and stop this curse before it kills her son. And then we find out that the baby daddy is actually, what's that guy's name? The long hair guy, kind of the playboy type of guy, the bachelor type of guy. Find out that is actually her child's father, and he's not involved in his kid's life because he doesn't think he'd be a good father. But overall, I gotta say, this movie is very, very well done, very well shot. I love the detective mystery component to this. And, it kind of spawned a series of other films that took the viral challenge concept and then made their own films, such as Talk to Me, which is a recent one from A24, The Bye Bye Man, Slender Man, Smiley, which I actually did watch Smiley right after this, so that was a little double feature that I did this weekend with some people. And Smiley certainly is not anywhere near as good as The Ring. But anyway, it was great to revisit this, especially during October. We are in the Halloween season, and I just really need to give this a revisit. I really like The Ring, and I would give it a good 8 out of 10.